Why Ghosts Dominate Competitive Pokemon by Moxie Boosted.
Whoa, a ghost type video right around Halloween.
Ooh.
How original. Cut me some slack. We're at minimum a year out from the next competitive Pokemon game. We're not quite scraping the bottom of the barrel, but I definitely got to get my shoulder in there to reach anything. Ghost types. They're like really good. Like really, really good. Like every generation, it seems that they get better and better for some reason. I'm not kidding. At minimum, since Generation 6, Game Freak has put enough freak juice into at least one ghost type to have it break a metagame in half. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. We've had things like Aegislash come out in Gen 6. Was it King Shield had to completely get reworked going in? I think it was Gen 7. Fluttermane is absolutely bonkers. Fluttermane came out. I looked at it. I saw it. I'm like, this is instantly like my top three. My top three, I think, are Whimsicott, Fluttermane, and Rayquaza. I think those are my top three Pokemon, which is a very competitive core now that I think about it. Dragapult was bonkers, dude. I mean, it has the same typing as Giratina. We kind of had like Sinnoh Trio, but light, right? Like we had Dracovish, that was like that was Water Dragon, that was the Palkia one. We had Duraludon, which was Steel Dragon, which was kind of Dialga. We had Giratina Light, which was Dragapult, Dragon Ghost. And now the fact that Duraludon can have Eviolite is dumb. Like, ooh. Ooh. But yeah, no, ghost types, it's kind of like bug types. Gen 5 was kind of a renaissance for bug types because one generation prior, we had things like Wormadam, right? Burmy, right? You didn't really have competitive bug types. So going into Gen 5, you had Escavalier, you had Galvantula, you had Excelgor, right? Bug types started to kind of see a renaissance in Gen 5. So now going into Gen 6, yes, absolutely, we have ghost types that are seeing more and more prominence. And we've seen some of the typings that were kind of underutilized. Like we had Volcarona, thank you as well. We even had, oh God, what was it? Ghost type. I can't remember where I was going with that. Normal types. How many formats has Snorlax been around for? Normal type, which people for years kind of just wrote off, right? It's not that Snorlax was meta in GSC, don't get me wrong, but it's interesting to see how, as the game has evolved, types have been given more and more ability to do things.
It seems each gen we have at least one broken ghost type that the entire game exists within the context of, and we need to keep in mind whenever we build a team. Ghost types are naturally quite good as they have the advantage of being not only immune to fake out and extreme speed, but they can't be trapped at all, and they have immunities to both normal and fighting moves.
So if you as a typing have any immunity, you will inherently do better. If we had let's say Garchomp was rock type versus ground type, what would you choose? I guarantee you're gonna want that ground type, not only for like stab EQ or if you want to go stab earth power, but like that is so much value to just have a passive immunity, 100%.
Them a super desirable typing. So today I want to talk about the brief history of busted ghost types in modern competitive Pokemon. You might think this list is short, but believe me, it's going to be a lot longer than you realize. If you enjoyed this video at any point in time, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. As a matter of fact, you should really just subscribe right now because I have a playlist full of content just like this that you can watch once this video ends. And if you think you're subscribed, do me a favor and double check because like a lot of my viewers actually aren't. With that, let's get into the video. Like I said, we're going to start with modern competitive Pokemon, meaning the 3D era. Of course, the first Pokemon on our naughty list, wait, sorry, wrong holiday. The first Pokemon on our spooky list has to be Aegislash. While on face value...
Dude, Aegislash. Wasn't Aegislash part of that Chalk team in Gen 6? It was part of Chalk, right? That was the A in Chalk. Aegislash was dumb.
This Pokemon doesn't have much going for it, but a great Ghost Steel typing and phenomenal defenses with admittedly low HP. It takes just a single turn for this thing to become a menace. You see, Aegislash's base 150 defense stats instantly become its attack stats if it uses any attack, thanks to its exclusive ability of Stance Change. With these absurd offenses, it can knock the lights out of any Pokemon instantly with a powerful Shadow Ball, then instantly switch back to being a bulky tank by clicking.
He's using two different models. This looks almost like a XY, maybe Auras model, because it's more passive in color. This is more bold in color. So this feels like this would be, what, Sword and Shield, maybe? Unless the colors just become more vibrant in sword form, but I don't remember that.
Any Pokemon instantly with a powerful Shadow Ball, then instantly switch back to being a bulky tank by clicking the move King Shield, which originally harshly dropped the attacker's attack stat if they made contact with it, which was obviously broken. So Game Freak took that back pretty quick the next gen and made it just a single attack drop.
Yeah, no, they shotgunned that nerf 100%. Dude, King Shield was dumb.
On this deadly combo, Aegislash didn't ever really have to deal with the consequences of dropping its defenses to attack since it had a naturally pretty low speed stat, allowing for it to almost almost always go second, meaning you were usually hitting it on its base 150 defenses, but still getting smacked by base 150 attacks.
Dude, I love Galissapod. I am forever going to be upset that it only has emergency exit. So that Galissapod may have had great positioning, but because that Aegis, it may have survived, right? But because that Aegis Slash quite literally hit it for over half its health, Grats, get switched. Deuces. Like, it is such, as somebody who loves bug Pokemon, it is such a peak design. I love Galissapod. Probably top 5, right? I mean, like, as I said, once again, it's going to be like Whimsicott, Fluttermane, Rayquaza. Galissapod's somewhere up there. I don't know if it's top 5 or top 10. Good God, though, it really hurts from emergency exit. It really hurts, and it is forever gonna bug me, dude.
And you couldn't really follow up the next turn to hit it on its defenses, since King Shield has the same priority as Protect, meaning it could toss up its brick wall defenses before anything actually hit it. Aegis was famous for this little dance it do, where it would just alternate attacking and King Shielding to always get the best of both worlds.
Right.
It was eventually nerfed to have just 140 in its defenses, but the damage was done. At least it sucked in Gen 8 VGC, since Max Guard didn't activate stance change. That's
No, it didn't. Yeah, that was a very relevant nerf.
karma, you dork. I was celebrating the fall of Aegis pretty hard. Speaking of fall, this video is sponsored by Marvel Strike Force. It's that time of the year when the leaves fall off the trees and it gets real cold outside, so instead of dealing with that cold, you can play Marvel Strike Force. Want to immerse yourself in the spirit of Halloween? Well, you can experience the spookiness of the season with Marvel Strike Force. Unlock heroes in the spirit of the season like Zombie Iron Man. After being infected with a mysterious zombifying virus, Tony Stark is now a shadow of his former self, who hungers for flesh and can inflict bleed on his enemies. You can take him and other Marvel heroes and villains into battle in this free-to-play mobile squad RPG, where you defend the universe against threats like Doctor Doom and Apocalypse. Recruit heroes from across the multiverse like Blade, Wolverine, Iron Man, and more. With your team, you can play different game modes like campaigns, Blitz, the arena, raids, and more. There's even the Cosmic Crucible, where you can go head-to-head with other players in the tournament. And if you're in my audience, I know you love your RPG tournaments. New players can unlock Agatha by logging in this month only. So what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description down below to download Marvel Strike Force and use the promo code Halloween to receive 100 shards for Zombie Iron Man, 600,000 gold, and 480 L2 training modules for free. Once again, click the link in the description to download Marvel Strike Force, where you can use the promo code Halloween to receive 100 shards for Zombie Iron Man, 600,000 gold, and 480 L2 training modules for free. And thanks again to Marvel Strike Force for sponsoring this video.
So, like, 8 out of 10. I like that we had aids on screen, like underneath my model right now. We have Apple Store, Google Play, right? We have aids on screen. We have a QR code, which I'm a huge fan of because it makes it the easiest possible for anyone interested to do this. I guess I'm trying to figure out if it's personal bias, just because I'm not super interested in like, it's not even I'm not interested in Marvel. It's just kind of like Warhammer. Where do you begin, right? I mean, reasonably how I tackle things is pick a point, right? Like watching Marvel vs. Capcom videos, right? Cool, who's Dormammu? Why should I care about Dormammu? Why is he relevant? Oh, who's this other person? Who's Monster Hunter, right? And you kind of go down the list and you kind of get a knowledge that way, right? But Marvel and DC just have never really kind of sparked my interest. It reads like standard gaming app ad read, right? I don't think it does anything to be like super over the top or like super push the envelope, but it was short, it was sweet, it did have proper aids, it have relevant gameplay and stuff on screen at all times. I think it was good. I liked it. 8 out of 10.
While Aegis did get that nerf in Gen 7, we were still introduced to a new little menace with a broken ability in Alola. Mimikyu at face value isn't anything to write home about. Its stats.
Dude, I missed that Focus Sash no longer works with Disguise. I was depressed when I figured out it didn't. Gen 7 Mimikyu is actually built different. You have to understand.
Are just alright and befitting of a strange little Pokemon that you find in a Walmart. But Walmart, its ability certainly is not. We've got that Hermes, Gucci, Louis Vuitton ability on this Pokemon.
Louis Vuitton.
The costume it's wearing costs more than your rent. The Z-Stone on its wrist costs more than your ring. You see, Mimikyu had the ability Disguise, which simply caused Mimikyu to not take any damage from the first move that went into it. And while this ability would later be changed to deal a small amount of damage to Mimikyu upon the Disguise breaking,
because we were using Focus Sash with it, dude. Guys, we did it to ourselves. We got the Mimikyu nerf because we're like, I'm gonna put a Focus Sash on that. Ghost Stadium Z? Nah, I want to survive 2 hits, my guy.
This was not the case upon its initial release. Mimikyu was notorious for its reliability as a Trick Room setter in competitive VGC and a Swords Dance sweeper in singles. Any other Pokemon would kill to have a free turn on the field, and Mimikyu just got that by default. In VGC, you had to play the guessing game. You want to stop Trick Room? You got 2 options. You can taunt the Mimikyu and find out that it's actually holding a Mental Herb, or you can double into it with your 2 strongest attackers and find out it's holding a Focus Sash. Yeah, that nerf to make Disguise Breaking cause a little damage was specifically done to make sure Mimikyu never ever ran a Focus Sash in competitive again, because the only thing worse than 1 free turn is 2. And with a great move pool including Trick Room, Swords Dance, Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, Play Rough, and Shadow Sneak, Mimikyu could really stretch that free turn further than any other Pokemon.
We're forgetting Woodhammer. This thing can use its tail to drop a Woodhammer. Dude, Mimikyu had so much going for it.
I mean, take a look at the results from tournaments in 2017 and 2018. Mimikyu Snorlax teams were everywhere, and if your team didn't have an answer to it, you weren't expected to do well in a tournament.
Hot take, Gen 7, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and even Sun and Moon were way better than people gave them credit for. I have said for years that Gen 7 was kind of peak for VGC, because we had the national decks, but the Alola decks were what we used for VGC, right? Initial VGC until national decks was updated, right? It solved the VGC issue. I think that Mega Evolutions and Z Crystals were two mechanics that kind of worked in tandem together very well. I think that the way that it solved some of the evolution things, like the Canyon on Island 4, on the 4th, I can't remember the island offhand. I think it's Melee. Being able to bring a Magneton there to evolve it, and especially solving the legendary issue with, we're just going to go through Ultra Beast wormholes, right? I think that Gen 7, especially with how consistently it controlled the control scheme, some of the facilities you had access to, their proximity to Pokemon centers, stuff like breeding, right? My 3DS, my special edition 3DS, it has been a trooper with me for the past decade. My B button is starting to actually go up because of Gen 7, because of how much breeding in Tauros I did in like Gen 7. I think that Gen 7 is actually way more peak than gave it credit for. Absolutely. We have criticisms, 100%. I think that in terms of Scarlet and Violet, I think it was a more stable experience, and VGC I think was ultimately more enjoyable, even if we were in Tapu format, because good God, terrain.
Even post nerfs in Gens 8 and 9, Mimikyu having a free turn has led to it remaining a top-tier competitive staple in VGC, maintaining a healthy level of play. Where Mimikyu was busted because of its utility and ability, Game Freak really pushed the envelope in Generation 8 by asking the question, what if we made a ghost type that was like fast? Like really fast. Like the fastest non-legendary Pokemon people will actually use in matches. Then they made Dragapult. Wow.
Dragapult smart targets, by the way. So if you're in doubles and you use Dragon Darts and your opponent protects, both will target the non-protected Pokemon. It's smart targets and it's dumb.
Ghost and Dragon types are strong on their own. Together, they're a whole new beast. Dragapult offensively has nearly no resist to its stabs, as Ghost and Dragon hit most things for neutral damage.
Yeah.
Well, all except for its arch nemesis Wigglytuff, which you can literally not touch. Yeah, imagine being the face of a Generation's competitive format, only to be walled by the giant wad of bubblegum from Gen 1. Go figure. But the point is, Dragapult was a pseudo-legendary Pokemon made with Dynamax in mind. Clear Body meant that not only was Dragapult immune to Intimidate drops, but none of its stats could be lowered by the opponent's max moves either.
Like, people were running Infiltrator on this thing, and I was just like, but why though? Especially with Intimidate being as omnipresent as it is. Like, I just never understood why I would run Infiltrator over this, especially when Dragon Dart's smart targets. Or you could run something like, what was it? Shadow Force, which can go through Protect. You have outs to protect, especially in a generation where you could just max your Dragapult and just crash. Oh my God. I really actually kind of miss Gen 8 VGC.
Dragapult could max Airstream boost without any fear of Icy Wind, Electrowave, or Max Strike slowing it down. This also, unfortunately, made it quite the popular weakness policy user. But to be fair, literally anything could run weakness policy in Dynamax. That's just one of the reasons the mechanic was so annoying. But despite Dragapult's impressive stats and ability, it also has quite possibly the best Dragon-type move in the game today. Dragon Darts is a 50 base power physical Dragon move, which hits twice and doesn't make contact. This move in doubles will strike each target once, but not only does this move hit both opponents individually, bypassing wide guard, it also has smart targeting.
Yeah.
This move will literally play the game for you at times. If one of the opposing Pokemon clicks Protect or is otherwise immune to Dragon Darts, no problem. Both of the darts will now go into the partner that can be hit that turn.
Literally not pre-watched. As it turns out, I know a decent amount about Pokemon. Have I topped at a VGC event? No. Am I this like god on ladder? Absolutely not. But man, I have a passion for this game. There are so many cool things about this game.
It was even recently discovered that if Dragon Darts misses due to evasiveness, like Sand Veil or Bright Powder, it will check if the move is going to miss before selecting the target, and if it is going to miss that Pokemon, the dart will redirect into the other Pokemon twice.
Dude, that's so dumb. Oh my god. What is the term in trading card games? Oh, bro, you're playing Helmet, which is pretty self-explanatory. You're playing a deck that plays itself. Is Dragapult quite literally the Helmet meme? Dude, that's wild. And if they were still making discoveries about this, it was recently discovered, he says. This video went live as of reacting to this 4 days ago. Like, we're still discovering things about this. Like, even Gen 1, right? Moltres was booty cheeks, right? People were not running Moltres in Gen 1 comp, right? Until what, fairly recently, in around 2024, we're still discovering things about legacy metagames and interactions, and like new stars are up and coming in older metagames. Pokemon is such a timeless series that you can really be like, well, I honestly kind of like Gen 4 VGC, you know, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I liked the physical special split was there. I liked access to up through Gen 4's Pokedex, right? Cool. Go play Gen 4 VGC with Heart Gold, Soul Silver. 100%, right? Like, you can do that. That is a valid option to do. You don't have to play Scarlet Violet DLC. You don't have to play Sword and Shield DLC. You don't, like, right? It's so cool that, like, everything is kind of its self-contained metagame, which kind of becomes an issue when you're going forward. And, even then, like Gen 9, I'm sure it has its low points. Gen 10, I'm sure will have its low points as well. But you can absolutely go back and have fun with older games. You could, today, dear viewer, go play Sword and Shield and Smart Target with this. You could just play Sword and Shield format. Nothing's stopping you from doing it. And I'm sure it has its own dedicated fan base as well.
How crazy is that? Pokemon could make this move function first try, but Z Parting Shot crashed the game back in Gen 7. Yeah, sounds about right. But Dragapult isn't the only busted ghost type from Generation 8, since Game Freak decided to make yet another ghost type that hits like a truck and outspeeds literally everything by creating Calyrex Shadow Rider. A base 150 speed stat means that not only does it outrun Dragapult, but even Zacian Crowned, the previously most broken Pokemon in the game. Not only did this Pokemon boast Astral Barrage, a spread ghost move with 120 base power, but for every KO that it scored, its ability Grim Neigh would have it gain a special attack boost.
I mean, it's just Moxie, right? It's just Moxie on KO increased stat, which Moxie is in, because my hair crosses Moxie. On KO, increase your attack stat. It's just special Moxie.
Snowballing it and make it roll over anything in its path. And since it outspeeds Zacian, it can click Dynamax to use Max Phantasm, drop the opponent's defenses, and then KO with its own partner Zacian. There's so much messed up about this Pokemon. It has its own video on my channel, but you can check that out later. But
I honestly never even thought about running Calyrex Shadow Rider with Zacian Crowned. Good God, I'm literally gonna go pick up my Switch, go back to Battle Tower in Sword and Shield, and I'm gonna go see how it does. Because normally I run like Whimsicott. No, I was running the infamous Kyogre Zacian build. I was running a big core with that, and I threw like Whimsicott and stuff on there. I think my actual Battle Tower team became something along the lines of like lead Whimsicott, Prankster Whimsicott, standard VGC set, Tailwind Whimsicott. And then it would be for just max water spout damage, you know, Specs Kyogre, swap out into Zacian Crowned. I think it was Zapdos. I think Zapdos is, yeah, or I'll like replace for Garchomp or something. That's kind of a flex slot. Gmax Kingler. Dude, I love Kingler so much. I love Crab.
Yeah, this dude remains stupid. But where Gen 8 brought us 2 ghost types at the top of the metagame, Gen 9 brought us not 1, not 2, but 5 new ghost types to fear.
Dude, Golden Go is dumb. Good as Gold is actually broken.
Yes, 2 of them are from Hisui, but they were only playable in PvP as of Gen 9, so
people be like, oh, I saw them Pokemon releases. We're not talking about it. No, sir, I just see a funny Typhlosion on screen. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't acknowledge anything.
Counting them here. Let's begin with Pokemon number 1000, Golden Go. which asks the question, what if Aegis/Slash stacked paper to the ceiling and wrote on 24-inch chrome? Thus, we got this Golden God, and it has one of the most broken abilities ever in Good as Gold. What does Good as Gold do? Oh, nothing. It just makes the user immune to literally all status moves. Now,
yeah, it's actually dumb. Mine is actually less kitted out for VGC, and mine's actually kitted out for max raid dens. Because I still have I'm so far behind. I just dropped Scarlet and Violet super early. They just didn't incite that, like, they didn't stoke that competitive spirit like prior generations had for me.
I know your average Pokemon player just wants to click Draco Meteor until the A button falls off their controller, but in a competitive environment, status moves are the name of the game.
Yes.
Golden Go is immune to Taunt, allowing it to protect and Nasty Plot without fear being stopped. It's immune to Thunder Wave, meaning its speed has to be lowered by other means. It's immune to Encore, meaning it can't be locked into its setup moves. And above all else, it's immune to every single possible way you could inflict sleep on it.
Yes.
This means Spore, this means Sleep Powder, and it even means Relic Song and Dire Claw because it's immune to both of those as a Ghost and Steel type. The
What gets Dire Claw? I don't know what that is.
only thing you're allowed to do to Golden Go is hit it, which you probably want to do anyways as to avoid its signature move of Make It Rain. A 120 base power special steel move which drops Golden Go special attack stat by just one stage every time it uses it. Even with the 25% damage reduction from spread moves, that's the same as 2 90 base power individual steel type attacks. That's better than 2 individual flash cannons. He just gets to do that for some reason. And he's among one of the more reasonable ghost types from this generation because we also got Annihilate, a ghost fighting type evolution to Primeape, which not only has phenomenal bulk, an ability which makes it get stronger from being intimidated, and literally perfect type coverage on its stab moves, but it has a signature move of Rage Fist, a 50 base power ghost type attack, which gains an additional 50 base power every time Annihilate is hit, leading to self-target.
When it says hit, is that contact or any time a move connects?
Beat up strategies where Annihilate will have a partner hit it, giving it a ridiculous 250 base power ghost type move right off rip. And while
Dude, the mouse hold beat up? No way. Oh, that's nutty.
Now that is a really strong strategy with this guy, it's not the only one, since Annihilate also has the privilege of being a 110 base HP ghost type with access to the move Final Gambit, which is a move that knocks out the user while dealing damage equivalent to their HP stat at the time of use to the target. Not a lot of Pokemon have higher HP than Annihilate, and with the ghost typing, you can't even fake it out. Scarf Annihilate basically just gets to take something down with it turn 1.
Yeah.
It's like a more aggressive Destiny Bond. Also, if you made it this far into the video, do me a favor and just comment down below messing with people who haven't made it this far. Like, choose any random ghost type in the game that probably isn't that good, like Galarian Corsola, and just pretend like I sold you on it being busted. I don't know.
Excuse you? What do you mean Galarian Corsola isn't good? Slap an Eviolite on that. Dude, it's so bulky. Good God. Miss Magius, though. We're going to talk about Miss Magius being able to just fire off Shadow Balls with that speed stat. Choice.
I like to mess with the comments sometimes. I like our little inside jokes. Okay. As annoying as Annihilate is, it's never been as meta dominant as Fluttermane. Yet another Pokemon in this video that has another dedicated video on my channel explaining why it's so broken. But I'll just give you the spark notes here. Ghost, Fairy. Both of these types are very good. All of its stats that matter are very good. To the extent that you can really just spend EVs training it to patch up its bad stats and live hits that it really shouldn't be. It can run a lot of items. And it's won more tournaments in a single year of VGC than poor Blastoise ever will hope to in its life. Go watch the full video for more, but the last 2 busted Gen 9 ghosts aren't even from this generation really, or even the time period, as they're actually from Pokemon Legends Arceus in the Hisui region. The first of these is Hisuian Typhlosion, which is effectively just a slower Typhlosion with the ghost type added on. And this ghost type is everything for this Pokemon. Typhlosion may have a base 100 speed stat and access to Eruption, but Hisuian Typhlosion has a base 95 speed stat with access to Eruption, and you can't flinch it. Bam. Instant viability and regulation H. Moving on. Basculegion, on the other hand, was granted the ability Adaptability to boost the power of its ghost and water type moves, alongside the move Last Respects, which is a 50 base power move, which gains an additional 50 base power for every fainted party member, meaning that in singles, it can reach a maximum of 300 base power, and in doubles, it can reach 200 base power.
The fact that it gets Last Respects is nutty, especially if I remember correctly. Its speed stat is actually kind of nutty. Like, I know people were doing, oh god, what was it? They were using whatever the I always forget the name of it. It's the Houndstone. Yeah. We're using Houndstone for this really early on in Scarlet and Violet. So this just better Houndstone?
These are doubled to 600 and 400 base power respectively due to adaptability. Yeah, this dude can reverse sweep like no one's business, especially with the choice scarf item. And it's
I honestly need to get this though. I actually really need to get a Basque Legion. It is, I like that it has like the Wind Waker kind of like smoke trailing off of it a little bit. It's super cool.
due to this that it's currently a top tier in Regulation H. If you want a metric as to how busted these Gen 9 ghosts are, Annihilate, Fluttermane, and the very move Last Respects were all banned at one point from Smogon OU.
Yeah.
And Golden Go is an extremely high tier Pokemon in that format. As for VGC, it takes just one look at usage stats to see that ghost types from this gen make the world go round.
Yeah.
It's no wonder Game Freak introduced a ton of great normal types to try to balance this out, including one which can hit ghosts with normal moves for some reason. But this is just a brief overview of the power creep from modern ghost type Pokemon and why they continue to dominate the competitive landscape. If I missed any ghost type you think I should have talked about, let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video at any point in time, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It'd mean the world to me. If you want to support me further, you can check out my Patreon page or become a YouTube channel member by clicking the join button below the video. This gets you sneak peeks at future videos and even some bonus content. You also see your name at the end of my videos like all these lovely people. Special thanks to my most boosted supporters, Ant Media UK, Avatar67, and Kayla Thompson for the generous pledges. Another way to support me is to check out all these videos in the playlist on screen right now. I know you'll find something in there that you'll enjoy. I also have a second channel where I talk about the current VGC metagame trends and a Twitch channel where I stream, both of which will be in the description. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I'm gonna have to go look at his second channel, especially if it's VGC. I've been looking for a good source of VGC content. I know Wolf Glick does content as well, and I watched him back all the way in Sun and Moon format. Definitely was watching his some of his older content. So it's good to know that he also has a VGC focused channel. I loved it. I thought it was cool. Thought it was very thematic in regards to you know, Spooktober content. I always love talking about Pokemon. I don't always get to do it. I know that you know, some people like to see it, some people don't. Excuse me. Whoa. Hello. Whoa. I don't know what just happened. I just almost died. I don't know. My body just didn't know. Excuse me about that. Oh, God. Watch Pokemon. Watch the Ghost Pokemon video. Almost became a Ghost Pokemon. That's the one. So, it's good to see. Good to see that there's more VGC content out there. Very cool. I think my voice is just actually dying. Wow. So, before I drown, go check out Moxie Boosted. Link in the description. I'm gonna go not die really quick. Excellent content. Always good to talk about competitive Pokemon. Let me know if you want to see more, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, by the way, I also have Professor Kip. It's got a short up on it. Been trying to do more Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh content where I can. See ya!